Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to the Fantasy Forecast for Saturday, May 7th, 2016. I hope you guys all had a wonderful week, that it's the start of a beautiful weekend for you guys. I'm having a really wonderful week myself here. Everything's good. My balance doesn't really show it. I'll try to zoom out a touch here and let you guys see that, but that's alright. I don't mind my balance is hurting a little bit. Although it would help with my daughter just getting accepted into like private school. So there is that. I am going to put a GoFundMe link in the description on this video. I'm not going to ask for any more begging other than that. But if you guys have ever won a few bucks with me before, like a big one or anything like that, and want to help out, help my daughter. Put $5-10 over towards her, getting her to school this summer. I got to pay this massive bill by June 1st, guys. So I can't even really deposit more money into my FanDuel right now. That's how tight it's going to be. But if you can help out, I'd appreciate it. And so will she greatly. Okay, moving on from there, let's go ahead and just move on to optimal lineups for today. I've got them for DraftKings, and I've got them for FanDuel, and I've got my own as well. Now, my own, I'm an honest provider. My own sucked yesterday. But these are 2-game slates, guys. I tell you that, and it happens sometimes. So if you don't call the game right, you're going to lose. So, I mean, you kind of have to call the winner, and you have to call where the scoring is going to be. And that's just the way a 2-game slate works. There's no other way around it. Now, I'm going to tell you this when you look at this slate here. I kind of think, now this is going to sound weird, because if you look at this, let's just go through anyways, sorry. Let's just start. Let's get to the optimals when we get to the pictures. This is Roto Grinders. We always start with Roto Grinders. Everyone knows that. Roto Grinders has Lillard and Livingston at the point guard positions. This was very similar to my own optimal lineup, guys, when I pulled it, which is why I started to talk about it, so I'm sorry about that. I don't have number projections, but the whole thing projected at 292. Lillard and Livingston at the point guard. Clay and CJ McCollum at the shot guard. Damari Carroll and Iggy at the small forward. Draymond Green and Aminu at the power forward. And JV, if you can see him down there, buried in there at the center. JV's gone up a lot too, guys, but he's still worth it with the number of minutes they're giving him. So it's all right. We'll still pay it even at this price right now. I'm cool with it, but it's getting pricey. All right, let's get to the next one. This is Roto Wire. I didn't like theirs as much today, if I remember correctly. I don't remember why, but okay, so let's pull them up. Why do I not have a picture of Roto Wire? That's just weird. I should have a picture of Roto Wire. I'll just pull them up off the internet. No big deal, guys. Take me 1 second. It's nice to have a subscription of these guys because it makes it easier. Yeah, I do have a premium RotoWire subscription, guys, but it's not that much different, to be honest with you. Their free tools are pretty damn good. You got Lillard and Lowry in the point guards. Lillard's projected at 44. Lowry's projected at 36. We have Klay Thompson and CJ McCollum in the shot guards. Klay is projecting at 36. McCollum is projecting at 32. You have Damari Carroll and Harrison Barnes. Carroll is projecting at 24, and Barnes is projecting at 22. It's like exactly 5 times for both. Draymond Green's projecting at 41. Ed Davis is projecting at 18. And Mason Plumlee down there at the bottom, and he's projecting at 28 for a total lineup score of 282. I don't know how the other one broke down, but it came out at 292, and when the Rotos tend to land, they tend to all land like, within around each other, so if one's 10 higher than the other, I would think that one's better, and that's just me. That's past experience. You never really do know which one is going to hit, guys. I mean, it's all game flow and everything like that. I mean, it's like horse racing coming up today. There could be a favorite, of course, but if a horse breaks their leg, everything changes, doesn't it? And that happens. That's why they call horse racing gambling, and why there's a debate as to whether DFS is actually gambling or not, because we've certainly, injuries can affect our games as well. In NBA, it's a bit different, and I think especially with DraftKings, with late swap, if you know someone's going to sit due to some type of injury, but then there's still injuries mid-game, and that does change things too. RotoWire for today. Like I said, though, came in at 282, so let's move on to RotoQL. And there in my pictures, it should be next up. Yep, there we go. Okay, so RotoQL has for us today Lillard and Dragic in the point guard. Lillard projecting at 40. Dragic projecting at 32. Powell and DeRozan in the shot guard. I don't know why Powell keeps coming up. If he's been doing these numbers, I'm not sure, guys. You have to check because honestly, the Toronto game's just so goddamn boring to me. I don't really want to watch Miami and Toronto. Someone just, string me up by a rope instead. But anyways, I'll watch my FanDuel feed instead of the game. Norman Powell's projecting at 29, and DeRozan's projecting at 35. Wow, that's a huge value for Norman Powell, if that's true. Joe Johnson projecting at 24. Harkless projecting at 27 for small forward. And we got Draymond Green and Al-Farouq Aminu for power forward. Green is projecting at 35. Aminu's projecting at 25. I like Aminu today. Green is just, you have to spend your money somewhere, and Green's been good. And everyone gets scared when you see that 60-point performance he put up before. It's like, well, if he does anything like that again, I'm screwed. Guys, if you didn't have JV like the night before, when you put up 56, you were screwed. Sometimes certain players do certain things, and you better hope they're in your lineup, especially on a 2-game slate. At center, you got Whiteside. Whiteside could be that guy today, guys, too. I'm a little worried about him. I mean, what if he puts up a baller 50-point game? And there aren't many choices at center. You guys will see that. Their entire lineup projects at 283, and that was RotoQL today. On to Daily Fantasy Cafe. Daily Fantasy Cafe has Lowry and Lillard at the point guard positions. They're both basically projecting at 42 points. It's right next to each other, basically. Same with shot guard. They got Wade and DeRozan, and both are basically projecting at 35 points. DeRozan 36. We got Barnes and Harkless at small forward. Barnes is projecting at 22. Harkless at 23. We got Ed Davis projecting at 21, and Luol Deng projecting at only 27. But that's not that great, but it's a tight slate. And Hassan Whiteside, he's projecting at 41 for them, which is 5 times value. Pretty good, if you can't see him down there at the center. I hate this new setup where they cut the bottom out. And I wish there was a way I could modify it, guys. I've tried playing with the iPad coding on the screen. I can't. This is what we're stuck with, so I'm sorry about that. The show used to be a little bit better under the old app, and I wish I hadn't updated, but it actually auto-updates now. I really didn't even have a choice in that either. Okay, this is Daily Fantasy Nerd. They've done pretty good before. They've had a couple shitters, but let's see how they've got for us today. The Nerd is giving us Lillard and Lowry at the point guard. Man, that is a popular choice to combo. Lillard at 40 points and Lowry at 38. Everyone is going to have at least one of those two. There's no question about that. Differentiation might come from taking one different. At their shot guard, you got McCollum and Henderson. That is a little different for Henderson. McCollum's projecting at 36. Henderson is projecting at 18, and they are projecting him at 25 minutes. So that's interesting. Everyone else is projecting at 40 minutes, all three of them. Small forwards, we got Barnes projecting at 23 points, and Johnson projecting at 23 points. Their Barnes is projecting 33 minutes and Joe Johnson's projecting 36 minutes, but they're both right at 23 points, which makes Barnes the better value. Aminu, if the projections are, you never know, they're projections. Aminu's projecting at 27 points on 36 minutes, and Draymond Green is projecting at 45 points on 40 minutes. I honestly, there's not a lot of choices at power forward when you start. It just spend up a little or drop to the nothing. So, take them. And same with the small forward position today. Most you can go up is like a $5,100 shot for a Harkless or a Johnson. It's just not. There are no Durants today, so you're going to find it a little easier to get what you want today if you work it just right, guys. And you have Whiteside in there for the center, and he's projecting at 40 points on 34 minutes. And the whole lineup projects at 291. The interesting thing about the Daily Fantasy Nerd data that I always love is that it incorporates, like my own models do, the over-under lines. Now let me explain to you real fast because we have one more lineup here, but real fast because they have it showing to me. Golden State is favored by 3 points. Not very much, guys, close game. And the over-under is 213. The over-under on the Miami game is 186. You guys that can do math quickly in your head can be able to figure out that's more than a 25-point difference. It's a large difference. And Miami is also favored on home court by about 6 points. They're looking at even less of a game for that one. So, if you guys can do your DFS math, the closer games leads to more minutes for the starters, and the higher scoring games always leads to more fantasy scoring. You're probably going to want to load up on people from Golden State and Portland today. That's just going to make sense. The last optimal lineup before we get to my own will be Fantasy Pros. Fantasy Pros has for us today... Hell, did I even take a picture of it? No, I didn't, but I'll pull it up while I'm talking. They have Lillard and Lowry at the point guard positions. They have McCollum and DeRozan at the shot guard positions. They got Harrison Barnes and Joe Johnson at small forward. They got Draymond Green and Ed Davis for power forward. And they've got Plumlee for the center. Projections on those: Lillard projects at 39, Lowry at 38, DeRozan at 35, and McCollum at 31. Barnes at 21 and Joe Johnson at 22. Ed Davis at 19 and Draymond Green at 39. And Mason Plumlee, in case you just can't see him down there at the bottom, he's projecting at 24. Total lineup projection is 270, and that's not going to win today, guys, I don't think. It might, but 270 on a 59.8 salary. Okay, and that was Fantasy Pros, and now let's get to my ideal lineup. In my ideal lineup, guys, like I told you, it's about stacking, okay? Because today, it's on a 2-game slate. We're stacking the highest scoring. I mean, by 25, 30 points, I want to be all over Portland and Golden State. I've got Lillard at the point guard. I got McCollum at the shot guard. I got Harkless at small forward. And I've got Aminu at power forward. So you guys do the math there. That's the most you can take from one team on FanDuel. That's all Portland. All from the high-scoring game. Let's go down the Golden State side. We don't have Curry back. We have Livingston taking Curry's spot even at the 4,800. We've got Iggy, and we got Draymond Green. We don't have Clay. It's kind of like, I wish I had Clay in there too, you know? But this is the issue with Clay. To get Clay, I believe you got to drop DeRozan. And if you do that, you're kind of screwed somewhere else no matter what. Now, I don't mind dropping DeRozan, to be honest with you guys, because, you know, we can save that change anyways, you know, but it's saying, you know, salary cap exceeded by $300. I was exceeded by $300. Where would I get it from? Is the real question, guys. You're going down pretty far point guard, like really pretty far. You're going down really far at your other shot guard position. I mean, really, you should be spending up there. You should have DeRozan today, or you should have Wade. You're going to need someone from one of the other two teams. You have to do that. You have to put 3 together, right? Do you drop Iggy? You can drop Iggy to Barnes, and you still keep Golden State's side of it. But then you also have to start to think to yourself, how is Thompson going to do? You know, he has his games, and now he's on Portland's home court. And this is where you start thinking of the game flow. He had a 52-point game at home, then a 33-point game. Look at his last 8 before that. He hadn't had a 50-pointer in a long time. He hadn't been railed like... The only time he came close was Game 2 of Houston. He put up 34 points, and he's not thinking about fantasy. He put up 37 points the other night, you know, maybe a couple of different boards, He's not really thinking about the precise differences. That's his closest thing. And the few games that follow, it draws to about the 33 that he did. And then history shows us, especially playing against their home court, that he'll see about those 35 minutes or whatever, and probably get about 36 points. He's about a point-a-minute guy. And if he gets about 36, 37 minutes, you're looking at 36 points. And why not run? I mean, you could run it with DeRozan. It's all a crapshoot. You know what I mean? You guys are starting to understand. Barnes, the only question with him, and it was my minutes, but he sees 33 minutes, so there's plenty of points and rebounds to go out. I mean, I'm not worried about it, you know. I mean, Iggy and Barnes, they're similar choices. So to make this work, I'll go ahead and save this now so I can show it to you guys, but I'll leave the other one there for all of them. So I'll say this would be a tournament lineup, and I'll say that the one that I'm going to show you or go back to is the cash lineup. All right, and then let's do that now, because I've actually put that in a tournament on purpose, guys. All right, so here's your recommended cash. Lillard and Livingston at the point guard positions. McCollum and DeRozan at shot guard. Iggy and Harkless for the small forward. Draymond Green and Aminu for the power forward. And you've got JV at the center. The only people that you don't have from the Portland and Golden State game are 2 Toronto players. And that's because I think that Toronto might just beat Miami at home today. And then I decide, let's get DeRozan and let's get JV and let's get some extra points. And I think that's going to be a very nice cash play for you guys today. And it does stack heavy on Golden State and Portland. That has to be a high-scoring game. But if it is and the minutes are there, this should be just fine for everyone for cash. Now then, your alternate tournament play that I just created with Thompson, because some of you guys are like, get Thompson. I already know it. I know how you guys are. So there you go. Lillard and Livingston at the point guard positions. McCollum and Thompson at the shot guard. Barnes and Harkless for your small forwards. Draymond Green and Aminu for your power forwards. And JV for your center. Alright guys, super stacked, playing the numbers, 2-game slate. That's how it should be. That's your optimal cash and tournament lineups for FanDuel. DraftKings. Yeah, guys, I got you all. I got you covered. Okay, first one is going to be my optimal, because I just know where it is. I want you guys to take Lowry at the point guard. I want you guys to take McCollum at the shot guard. I got Aminu at the small forward. Draymond Green at the power forward. JV for your center. Crabbe as your guard. Harrison Barnes again for your forward. And you have Damari Carroll at their utility. It uses your whole lineup, and I think it does have the best chance of hitting a cash line on on DraftKings. I wouldn't go tournament on this one. There's a little too much Toronto exposure. Well, technically that's kind of the way you would play it. I mean, you want people Golden State and Portland, and you would. I guess you could do this tournament either way, guys. Look at the lineup and consider it for what it is, but this would be my optimal lineup for DraftKings for today. And I have a couple other, ones that were provided, so we can go through those too. And I tried to start putting these in order. I believe this is Roto Grinders now, the one that says it's from Poker USA. Okay, so let me pull this up on my photos. Roto Grinders, as for us. Lillard at the point guard position. Yeah, here we go. I don't have projections again, which is really annoying. McCollum at the shot guard position. Joe Johnson at the small forward. Josh McRoberts at power forward. That's their minimum punt play to get everyone else in. Whiteside at center. DeRozan for guard. Damari Carroll for your forward. And then for utility, they have Kyle Lowry down there at the center, if you guys can't see that. I think everyone can see the utility player in the shot, so I'm not going to worry. You guys let me know if you can't for some reason. It is at the bottom of the screen, but you should be able to see that. Okay, and that was Roto Grinders today. Let's go to Roto Wire. I'm pretty sure this was Roto Wire. No, it's this one right here. Okay, Roto Wire is Lowry at the point guard position, and they're projecting him at 39 DraftKings points. McCollum at the shot guard. He's projected at 35 points. Aminu for small forward. He's projected at 28 points. Ed Davis at power forward. He's projected at 19 points. Whiteside for center. He's projected at 38 points. Lillard in the guard position, and he's projected at 48 points. Harkless at your forward. He's projected at 25 points. And your utility player is Carroll, and Carroll is projected at 26 points. Okay, that is RotoWire for today, and they're projecting at 258. And then I have Daily Fantasy Nerd as well. Okay, so Daily Fantasy Nerd for us today. I've got to scroll back to this one. There we go. They have Lowry at the point guard projecting at 41 points. Ross at the shot guard, projecting at 16 points. Damari Carroll projecting at 24 points, but what I really like there is they're projecting him at 35 minutes at the small forward, because that still applies on FanDuel as well, guys. Draymond Green at 40 points, or projecting at 49 points on DraftKings with 40 minutes. At center, Whiteside projecting at 42 points. At guard, McCollum projecting at 39 points. At forward, Barnes projecting at 24 points over 33 minutes. And at utility, Aminu, and he's projecting at 29 points for a total lineup score of 265. 265 is not bad on DraftKings, guys. Okay, and that is your... I'll go back to my optimal again real fast for DraftKings. Yeah, sorry, I get a little confused there. My optimal for DraftKings for you guys is Lowry, McCollum, Aminu, Green, JV, Crab, Barnes, and Carroll. And on FanDuel, my recommended optimal lineup is, and this would be the tournament one, and you guys saw the other one, but Lillard and Livingston at the point guard, McCollum and Thompson at the shot guard, Barnes and Harkless at the small forward, Green and Aminu at the power forward, and JV for the center. That's your fully stacked Golden State and Portland game entirely with just one other player, which would be JV from Toronto. And then your cash, which would be a little bit safer because it doesn't throw so heavy on that game. It at least goes 2 players from Toronto. It does kind of bank on Toronto winning. Same lineup, except you've switched out and you have Livingston at the point guard now. So Lillard and Livingston. And at the shot guard, it's McCollum and DeRozan. Your small forward has gone up to Iggy from Barnes. And you still have Harkless. You got Draymond Green and Aminu for your power forward. And JV again for your center. Okay, guys. That's Fantasy Forecast for Saturday, May 7th, 2016. I'm going to put a GoFundMe link in the description on this video. Like I was talking about earlier, if anyone wants to, help out my daughter with her schooling. I can't believe she got half of it as a grant, which is pretty amazing because of one of the really prestigious schools, but it's still really expensive to afford the rest of it for the program. So if any of you guys have a few extra bucks for any reason and really enjoy the show or anything like that, please contribute and drop me a comment, and I'll like it and I'll definitely give my appreciation for it. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for watching. I love you guys all. Subscribe if you want future notices on videos. I try to get them out to you guys, pretty much within a couple hours of lock all the time, no matter what now. All right, talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go on out there and go win some money.